So let's talk about buzz. And buzz is this idea. It's partially word of mouth, and it's just getting people talking about you. So if you think about maybe a hot new movie is coming out, and all of a sudden it seems like everyone's talking about it. It's like you've never heard of this movie before, and all of a sudden people start talking about it. You start hearing about it, and it just becomes the thing. You see, this happens with music. This happens with trends. This happens with clothes. This happens with all kinds of things. I think about it most often with movies and music in my life. And like one of the things is just that idea of everyone's talking about it all of a sudden. Boom. And so can you get that in your launch? And that's what we're going to talk about. And this is one of those things that's not super formulaic. Even though we're in the product launch formula, I'm doing my best to show you exactly how to launch and make it a true formula for you. Some parts are less formulaic, and buzz is one of those. And it's all going to depend on where you're at in your business, what your launch is, and the assets that you have in your business, the assets you have to deploy to get people talking about you. When you're first starting out, it's tough to create a lot of buzz. But it's still something to think about, because even a little bit of word of mouth, a little bit of buzz at the beginning can really move the needle for you. Because frankly, if you're just starting out, you don't need much to happen to move the needle. So even if you're just starting out, I think you should pay attention to this and think about it in your launch, and think about it as you move forward. So characteristics. First, buzz travels most easily through channels that have trust and authenticity. If people don't believe you, there's not going to be any word of mouth. They're not going to tell other people about you. It's just not going to happen. So, and also if it's just a pure sales message, people don't like to just share pure sales messages unless it's something that truly feels like a breakthrough in the market for them. So this just speaks to the whole idea of product launch formula and sharing great content, creating great value before you actually ask for the sale. This is just another area where the classic PLF approach of delivering value in your launch or before your launch, delivering value, having a narrative, having a story, having great content just helps so much. So multiple modalities of media. So this is the deal. If you think about like the last time there was like a movie that had a whole bunch of buzz, maybe you had a friend talk about it with you. Maybe you saw a mention of it in social media. And then maybe you saw an ad for it or a trailer for it. And you heard about it through different ways. And that, to me, when I think about buzz, that's one of the key things. So if you can have people talking about it in different areas or sharing about it, or even if you're sharing about it in different areas in different ways, it helps. Every market is different in how buzz develops. There's the pure mass media like movies, like big music. That is completely different from like a Star Trek convention or something like that. So different markets are different, and a little mystery goes a long ways. So what I mean by this is, as you're sharing your story, maybe you're sharing it via email, maybe you're sharing it in some videos or some live broadcast you're doing, or on social media. A little mystery means just if you just pull out some pieces and don't be completely explicit about everything, that can really help with the buzz. A little mystery gets people talking about you. So to create buzz, I talked about this already, be authentic, create value, drop hints, and leave a trail of breadcrumbs. So I've done this multiple times, even with things that you wouldn't consider for a launch. Like I did it with my blog at jeffwalker.com. I started to talk about this upcoming blog, and then I had a contest to help me come up with the tagline. I did this with my book, where I started talking about the book long in advance, and then I had a couple contests to help design the cover of the book. And in each one of these, I didn't give the complete story. I just gave parts of the story. And this idea of dropping a trail of breadcrumbs, all of us, as you build your presence in the market, You'll have some people that are like super fans, some people that are fans, some people that know about you, and a lot of people that don't have never heard of you. And what part of the buzz is, it's helping those super fans, and you will eventually develop those super fans, even if you don't have them yet. It's enabling those super fans to sort of follow the mystery, put the pieces together, and feel like real insiders because they know what's going on. They did follow that trail of breadcrumbs, and they know what's going on. And once they know what's going on, they love to share it with people because it shows, it shows their knowledge. It shows what kind of insiders they are. So I am a big fan of engaging the raving fans, your raving fans, and your champions. These are just the people that are closest to you, that care the most about you, and that you care the most about. And those are the people that are going to help spread the word, spread the message. You want to engage influencers to the level that you know those influencers. These are the people in your market that have creative opinions, that have big followings. And these are the people that long term you want to be developing relationships with. And once you develop relationships with, then can you get them to mention you? Can you appear on their podcast? Can you appear in their videos? Can you get interviewed by them? Can you just have them drop a mention somewhere? Can you just drop a photo of you with them? And we've just gone through the pre-launch, and the pre-launch is really where you start to create this buzz, where you start to build up the buzz. So potential assets, obviously your lists of both your prospects and your clients. Your clients are going to they're going to be closer to you in relationships, so they're going to be better for this. If you have a blog, that's a great place. Social media is probably the premier place right now. Forums, you have to be careful if you're going to go in forums and start to try to build buzz there, but you have to be careful that you actually have a presence there. If you have a presence there and you've delivered value, then people are going to be more receptive to you mentioning what's coming up. Then just what relationships do you have? And again, this is to those, the top people in your market, the top affiliates, the top blogs. And speaking, like if I have a major launch coming up, I love to get on stage. So in general, I turn down most speaking events just because it doesn't tend to fit my lifestyle to do a bunch of travel to go speak at events. So it's rare when I do. But when I do, it's usually shortly before a launch. If I can get on a really big stage 4 weeks before a launch, that just helps get the word out. That helps build the buzz. Because generally the people at those events, those are the kind of people that do spread the message for you. They are the people that are connected, that are interested in talking about you, talking about the industry. So I do like speaking. And this doesn't have to be live events. It could also be webinars, and it could be podcasts. It could be any type of, any place where there's a following, where you can get in front of a bunch of people. I have run contests. I did that, like I mentioned, I ran a contest to come up with a tagline for my blog. And I think I gave away an iPad when I did that. So it wasn't that I desperately needed a tagline. It was that I wanted people thinking about my blog and talking about my blog. And then once I ran the contest, I got thousands of entries. Then I could go back and start talking about those thousands of entries. Go live, meaning there's so many different places to go live in social media with a live broadcast. It's a great way, because really the people that are going to be watching live are the real insiders, your real big, your super fans. And those are the people that are going to help spread the word. If you are doing a JV launch, let them know way ahead of time. Get on their schedule, again, your partner's schedule way ahead of time, because they can start helping build the buzz ahead of time. Interviews and speaking engagements, I just mentioned that. I like just gathering case studies. If you tell people, hey, this is a call for case studies. We're looking for case studies. I want to talk about your success of my upcoming product. So this is just sort of another version of pre-pre. Because when you go out there and tell people you're gathering case studies because you've got a new product coming out, well, you've just told people you have a new product coming out without trying to sell them. And that can help build word of mouth. Doing a survey or a quiz, I do this. I often do this. I mentioned on the blog. I mentioned with my book. I did contests, and then social media is probably the place where buzz is being developed that's probably number one right now. So I do going into a launch months ahead of the launch. I'll start thinking about this. What can I do that's a little different that I can create a little buzz? Get creative. Get creative. That's the real deal. Like I said, this isn't always a huge piece of every launch, but I try to think about how can I build it in each launch, even as a beginner. Even as a beginner with not that many assets, what can you do to get scrappy and get creative?